Former Minister Zizi Kodwa scheduled to make his second appearance before the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court this morning. You might remember he is charged in relation to evidence presented at the State Capturing Commission of Inquiry, which led to his resignation as minister just moments before the elections. I understand proceedings there are just about to begin. Let's listen in.
I see there appears to have been a previous application for the bail.
Yes, do you agree that there was a previous application and today there have been freshly, newly made an application of indication trying to look certainly to disposal and also allow your support should a new application be made and the necessary new applications were made and agreed and then
All right, let me hear Mr. Majavu. You represent accused 2.
Good morning, Your Worship. Yes, I hold instructions on behalf of Mr. Kodwa and his arraigned as accused number 2. I also confirm that for the purposes of the stance of the proceedings and extending my colleague, Mr. Ian Small-Smith, I do confirm that we are both aligned with regards to our non-opposition for the media's presence. I can also take the liberty to confirm to the court that our position was the same in the previous bail application, which was adjudicated upon by your learned sister. So therefore, we see no reason why the media should not be allowed. So that is our position, Your Worship.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, under the circumstances, I don't think we should burden the record further with any official application or formal application. There is no opposition to it, so there's really no issues that the court needs to consider and rule on. The media will then be allowed to record the proceedings. Let me just understand, is this going to be just a postponement or is there going to be something of more substance?
only a reminder.
All right, otherwise we just had to somehow find order here because you can see the amount of microphones here. I hardly have space to put my documents in to write. Maybe I have to shift, then they won't be happy because I'm not with the microphones. All right, thank you. The media may then record.
Your Worship, just to assist in fairness to my learned friend, it's not just a mere remand. There was an intervening application between the two of us. I can take the court into confidence. We have subsequently brought a request for further and better particulars, which the state has received and is currently considering. So when I was on my feet, I was simply going to place that on record. But barring that, we seem to have found each other with regard to the duration of the postponement subject to the court's approval.
All right, let's hear Mr. Mokhagabi. If anything is required, I will then call on you again. Thank you, Mr. Mokhagabi.
Please support Your Worship. I then proceed kindly placing appearance on record.
You may, thank you.
Your Worship, today is the 23rd day of July 2024, and this is the Specialized Commission of Crimes for Johannesburg, PDC, Family Court number 10, case number SABC 37-2024. Presiding officer is the defendant, prosecutor Mr. Mahakali. There is no need for an interpreter as both actually signing each person. On record, in respect of case number 1, it is Mr. Small, Your Worship, in respect of case 2, it is Mr. Majavu. Your Worship, I will already place on record that Mr. Small-Smith is available, however, in the building. He is currently engaged in another matter requested Mr. Majavu to stand in for him, Your Worship. The letter on the last appearance, the state provided the state that is going to charge sheet person. And secondly, copies of the document were also provided. The purpose of the remand was for consultation and instructions. The question record that on the 17th July 2024, the state received an application in Section 87 for the CPA for from Mr. Madabo in respect of accused 2, Your Worship. I was in court the whole of last Friday and was unable to access my emails. It was only yesterday when I was in the office that I had an opportunity to access the emails. And I realized that there was an application which was forwarded on the 17th July in respect of accused 2 for terrorism. The state is currently in consideration of said lodging. Now, for Ethan I and Mr. Smith have appointed the custodian of the Central Island with a view for a remand, and the head of the office on the stage to respond to the said further particulars in respect to the and that being upon late between the state and the defense with the custodian of the Central Island, and obviously with the permission of this court, is the 21st of August. Thank you, Mr. Worship, for the state to respond to the sector class in respect to both that detail and bail, Worship, lady and bail, we can't get
Thank you. Mr. Majabu, I don't think there's anything else. The only question that I may have to you, did Mr. Small-Smith indicate whether accused 1 is of the intention to also apply for further particulars?
No, Your Worship, I specifically canvassed that issue with him. What he did indicate was that he is currently taking instructions apropos making reps. However, those would be done in the intervening period so that the date that we agree upon is not adversely impacted. I had the presence of mind to canvass that issue specifically with him.
Thank you.
Secondly, perhaps I can wait for the next question from the court, sorry.
Just a moment. So my understanding is he is still taking instructions whether he is going to make representations. There is not a clear instruction as yet.
Correct, Your Worship.
So I cannot commit him to a date at this point on when he will submit his representations.
Yes, however, what he knows the court will commit him to is the date that we agreed with Central Registry, so that it is incumbent upon him to do all interlocutories or whatever else he chooses in between now and the 21st of August, and that date has subsequently been confirmed with him.
Thank you.
The other issue, for the sake of completeness and perhaps my sins for being scholarly, Your Worship will note that if you peruse the charge sheet, there was an inscription, or the ought to have been an inscription made by your learned sister with regard to one of the conditions with specific reference to the contact of certain state witnesses. At that stage of the bail application, the state had not yet disclosed to us who its intended witnesses are, in respect of which an order could be made for non-contact. The holding position that was agreed upon was that the effectiveness of that order will only kick in when the state provides us with a list of those witnesses. And I can confirm that subsequent to the bail application, the state did provide us with a list of 6 witnesses. So I can confirm, to the extent that there was that inscription in the record, that we now know who those witnesses are. And on behalf of certainly both accused, I can confirm that we have been provided with their names, and we undertake not to make contact with them, because the court did make it as an order. I further confirm, Your Worship, that on the previous occasion, we were indeed finished with the contents of the docket and the charge sheet, because the state also undertook on record to do so. And it is precisely because of that disclosure that I read the 1,351 pages of the docket and made my application for further and better particulars based thereon. So I'm indicating this to the court to demonstrate that on the next occasion, we should be in a state of readiness to make a call, whether or not we're going to a pre-hearing arrangement or whatever the case might be. But the matter is proceeding at a relatively comfortable speed. I'm mentioning this on record because as far as my client is concerned, he is a public representative or a former public representative, and there is a lot of public interest riding on this case. And in fairness to the state, they have met every single undertaking that they have made. And I thought I'm duty-bound as an officer of the court to place that on record. Other than that, we're happy with the date, 21st August, for purposes of us receiving a reply from the state, and we'll then inform the court on our position upon receipt of those requested further particulars. As a court pleases your worship, unless there's an issue that I might have omitted.
Thank you, Mr. Majawa. I think that'll suffice. Thank you.
And that is apropos both accused number 1 and number 2.
Thank you.
Thank you, your worship.
Mr. Mohammed, is there anything else?
Just want to know one aspect. In
Sure.
relation to accused number 1's possible indication by our representation for the particulars will be I did not take that as you asked that to this motion. However, indications are that if it comes very to such will be made and shown before the 21st day of August, which will be able to know if any process that will be taken by accused number 1's legal representation, with an application either for resolution or representation. Once the state has begun asked for that, we will then accordingly the action. That is the only aspect which must be confirmed that it is 21st of August.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. All right, thank you, Mr. MacKay. Mr. Kodwa, your case is then postponed until the date arranged between parties, which is the 21st of August, 21 August, back to this court, 8:30. It is then for the state to reply to the further particular request. The state will also then engage with Mr. Small-Smith on your behalf, Mr. MacKay, to find out whether he wished to follow the same route. Alternatively, it is important to impress upon Mr. Small-Smith to make sure that whatever route he intends following, whether it's further particulars or a representation or both, he needs to please submit these as soon as possible in order to get a speedy reply. Both your bail is extended, same conditions as before. From the submissions made, the list of 6 names of state witnesses, which will then bring that bail condition of no contact in play or in operation. Please refrain from making contact with those listed witnesses. If for whatever reason they come across your path, please avoid them and turn around and walk away for the time being under the circumstances. Do you understand, Mr. MacKay?
I understand.
Mr. Kodwa? Thank you. You may stand down. Thank you. You're excused.
All right, so there you have it, live visuals there coming out of the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. That's where the case against former Minister Zizi Kodwa and former EOH executive, that's Jehan MacKay, has been postponed to the 21st of August. This was always going to be a short sitting, by the way. It was essentially to finalize the details of a pre-trial conference. We know that there are a number of steps taken before we get to really the merits of the case itself. Zizi Kodwa, of course, in the dock there for alleged corruption. He's accused of receiving about 1.6 million rand in kickbacks at the time when he was still the ANC spokesperson in exchange for lucrative government contracts, a charge, of course, he denies. Part of the reason why the proceedings there have also been postponed is because the defense is asking for more details from the state, information, if you like, before proceedings finally get underway. Once again, we'll be back in that court on the 21st of next month, with both the accused being given an instruction very clearly there by the court to refrain from making any contact with the 6 witnesses that are set to, I imagine, make some kind of testimony once the final trial or the actual trial itself finally gets underway. We'll be watching that story very closely for you here on the SABC News Channel.